Hi, in this video we are going to learn how to build the REST API. So before building the REST API, we have to download one or two things. That is, first we have to download the Postman. Postman, you can download it from here, and the second one is the Compass, MongoDB Compass from here. Choose the platform that you have and the version, that is the stable one. And after that we can go to our project. In here that project is already been given, and I have only added one property, that is password, and it will be there in the description, the repo link of this project. So now we are going to build the REST API. So before building a REST API, I'm going to show how does it look like. So let's say app.get the request that we are given and the path, and there is one callback function in which two parameters are there. It is request and response. In this we can response back with response.send, let's say testing, and if we write testing here, and after that we are going to run this file, and then again we go to our browser and let's see localhost 3000, we can see testing is there. So let's now begin to build our REST API. So before building the REST API, in our db.js we are going to export this line. So for exporting this line we are going to use module dot exports equal to user, and after that we are going to require it from here. So for requiring it from the db file, we are going to use user and require it from the utils folder and then db. Now we have required the user. Now if we are going to create a user here, so for creating a user we are going to use a post request. So we are going to use post request, in which we are going to write the path as a /users, and we are going to use asynchronous process here. So we are going to use async await methods. So async await, so async request response, and what the data can we get from here. So let's say console it from console.log request.party. So now I have run the file, but how can we see the request here? So that's why we are going to use the Postman here. Postman is like a browser request sender, or anything that a browser can do for sending any request to the server, it can do the same thing, Postman. So let's say we are going to create a new collection. So let's say for new collection, let's say mongoose demo, and in here we are going to create a new get request or a post request. So add a request here, let's say for create user. So in here it's I'm going to close it down, all the requests that are here. These are all the previous ones that I have used for another project. So in here we are going to, so now it's a post request, so we are going to send the post, and it's going to be a localhost 3000 users. And now we are going to use a body, and in here we are going to select raw, and we are going to send back back the data as a JSON file. So in here, if we send like name is like John Doe and age is 21. Now if we send it back to the send here, and now if we go to our here, you can see that undefined is getting console log out here. So the problem is here that the request.body that we get is not specified of which type. So here we are going to use a new middleware app.use express.json, and what it will do that it will parse the request.body that is a JSON type, and it will not parse any other type of request. So now if we send back again the same request, we can see the console log output. So now if we again send it back, now you will see that it will send the request that is named John Doe and S21. Now we are going to build a API. So we are going to use async await asynchronous process. So it's a very useful useful tool that the JavaScript gives us. So here the user, for saving a user, we are going to use await function, which is a asynchronous process. So user dot save, because for saving we can use user dot save, and in here we are going to just send back the request dot path. Now if there is an error, so for catching an error we are going to use try and catch block here. So for an error it will use like this. So we are going to use a try block here, and if any error, then response back with an status code of 400 and send back with nothing or e.message. And if user is being saved successfully, we are going to use your response, or here we are going to use also something called const, because here we are going to create a new user. So here we are going to use the const user is equal to new user request dot body, and here we are going to simply write user dot save. Now it's being saved, and in here we are going to respond back with status code of 201, which is a code for creating any collection or a document. So we are going to send back with a user. So let's say if we save it now, and if we again send back with the proper properties, let's say name is given, age is given, we also have to write for email. So let's say john@gmail.com, and again password, and for password we can type like 123, and now if we send back, here you will see that a new user is being created here. Now how can we see in the MongoDB collection? So for this we have also downloaded the MongoDB compass. So in here we are going to just copy and paste the URL, that is the connection string URL. So let's just copy and paste copy from here and paste it here. So if we paste it here, and now if we connect it, we will see that the new user is being created in here. If we go to the test and users, yeah, you can see that a new user has been created. Now we can also see if there is any failure in creating a new user. So let's say the password here is of length 3, and which is required, like you can see that in the message it is written that user validation failed because the password is shorter than the minimum length is allowed, which is 5. So the new user will not be created and it will go to the catch block. So now we are going to see how can we get all the users. So for getting the users, we are going to create a new part which is the same part, but only the request is different. It is get request. Now it will also take the request and response, and in here we are going to use a try and catch block. And in try and catch block, if let's say if there is any server side of error, so we can use 500 of error and send it back with nothing on it. Now we can use await here, and the user dot, we are going to find all the users. So for finding, we can use find user dot find, and here we can pass any filter out, but we can simply write here like give an empty object. Now if it give users back, so for this we can get the users, and if there is no users here, like no users are being there, so we can use if not users, then it will return back from here response dot status of 404 and send back with nothing on it. And if it is successful, then we can send status of 200 and send back with users. So let's check it out if it is right or if there is any mistake in here. So in here we are going to create a new request here, so we can create it from add a request, and from here like we can write get users and save to MongoDB mongoose demo. Now first of all we are going to like create more users here. So let's say if it is running or not. Oh, there is some error here. Await, oh yeah, we are going to use await, so it is compulsory to add a sync in the function below. So now if we go to our Postman and create a new user, let's say Jessica, and here like age21 is right, and like let's say Jessica, and let's say here J1236 B. Now if we send the request of post, we will see a new user has been created here, and if we refresh it here, you can see the new user has been created. Now in the get users, we are going to fetch all users that has been created here. So we are going to use localhost 3000/users, that is the path, and it's a get request. So now if we send the request, we can see that all the users is being created here. So now we are going to see how can we fetch only one user. So it's a get request, and it will also go to the users part, but here the ID of the user can be different, can be anything. So here we can use colon ID, and here it's async process also. So we are going to use async request response, and if we, and also it is going to be in a try and catch block. Now if there is an error, we can send the error back, and response dot send like 500, and sorry, response dot status 500 dot send e dot message. Now how can we use the ID here? So first of all, we are going to see what we can do here. So it's a parameter, so it's go into the request dot params here. So now if we console log what's in here, console log dot log request dot params, and for right now we are going to just comment it out here. And now if we save it and go to our this block, and we send like we get it from here and send back here, and if we see, and if we go to our project, we can see that it will give the an object request of parent. It is the object. So now we are going to use the try and catch block. So let's uncomment it out, and now if we now we are going to const user find by ID, because we are finding it by ID. Sorry, await and user dot find by ID, and for finding by ID we can just send the give the request dot params dot ID here. And now if there is a user of the request, then it will send back the 200, that is the okay. And if it is not, if it is null, we can check it from here, like if not user, you can return back, like we did the same thing in here. So it will return back with the response of status 404 and send back it nothing. And if it is true, and then we can send response dot status of 200 and send back the user. Now if we save it, and now we can go to our Postman, and if we again run this send, we can see the user is being called out, and we can get the user. Now we are going to see something called, for how can we do the update. So for updating any user, we can use update.patch request, which is an updation request, and in here we are going to use also the /users, and also we are going to use the parameter here, and it will be a async function, and request or response. And now it all, and for updating something, we also need a body, because the browser or the client will set anything that they want to, so it will be residing in the body part. So here, from here, we are going to use the try and catch block, try and catch block, and if there is an error, we can see response dot status of 500 dot send e dot message. So now if we can also use const user, because there is only one user of that ID that is being resided. We are going to use await, and here we are going to use user dot find by ID, and we are going to use this function find by ID and update. So here first it will take the request dot params dot ID, and next one it will take the update we are going to do. So request dot body, that's it. And if there is user of that type, if there is a user, then it will return. If if it is no, there is no user of it, then it will return back return dot response of status of 404 because there is no found response dot send nothing, and if it is response back with the new update value, so status of 200 dot send of user. But it will not work properly because it will not check if there is any validation or not. So there is optional properties required, that is it will give the new user and it will set to true, and it will check for validation. For running validator, we are going to use run validator in here, which is look like this. This one will run the new and run validator. And now if we save it, and we can go to the Postman, and in here we are going to create a new request, that is an update user. So we are going to update the user, and then we are going to save to the MongoDB. And now if we are going to patch it here and localhost 3000, and we are going to use this param, and we are going to send back with body, and we are going to select the raw and also select the JSON. And now let's say we are going to say update the age of this user, so it will like 34. Now if we send it back, we can see that the user is being updated and age is 34, and if we refresh it here, we can see that the age is 34. Now we are going to see the last one, that is app.delete. How can we delete a user? So for deleting, we can use app.delete users /id, and it will be a sync process, and we are going to use request and response. Now we are going to use try and catch block here also, and now we are going to see that if there is a user that is right, then await, it will give the user, so await user dot find by ID and delete, and here we are going to pass the params of ID. So the same thing that we have done in the previous request, that if there is a user, then it is good, and if it is not, then we can send the 404 message. So in here we can also respond back with a message. So now if we save it, and go to our Postman and create a new, or just say we are going to select delete here, and we are going to delete this one, and there is no bot required here. So now if we send it, we can see that it will give the user, and if we refresh it here, we can see that the John Doe user is being deleted. So that's how the REST API works here. So thank you.